What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique. I'm a fight guy, a Forbes contributor, and I also write for Heavy.com. And we are powered by Fight TV and presented by Bet Online. And it is time to talk UFC 250 predictions. Been going through every single last fight on this card. All right, it is time for the next fight on this card. Another super tough call. Now, this one's a tough call for a different reason, though, because I'm going to tell you guys something. Charles Byrd has let me down so many times when it comes to these predictions, right? So in his last fight, I had him basically taken out. Well, not his last fight. Last fight was against Edmund Shabazian, and then Edmund Shabazian might be a future champion. So that is what it is. But fight before that was against Darren Stewart, and I'm swearing, I'm like, Charles Byrd's got this guy. Darren Stewart has some holes in his game. I know that Charles Byrd's a fantastic wrestler. He's going to lean on that to get the advantage in this fight. And he was winning. He was in control and could have taken the fight down, taking Stewart down to the ground and really taking control, but he didn't do that and ultimately ended up getting caught and getting knocked out. Edmund Shabazian got him the same way. He was shooting the takedown, didn't protect his head as he was going for the double leg, and Shabazian just starts hitting him with the Travis Brown-like elbows on the side of the head and ultimately gets to stop. So now Charles Byrd's sitting here looking at this two-fight losing streak when he came from Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series as this really promising fighter whose record at the time was 10-4. Well, a record at that time was 8-4. Looks good. He gets 2 straight wins. He beats Randall Wallace on Tuesday Night Contender Series, then turns around and beats John Phillips by first round submission, wraps him up in the rear naked choke. And you're thinking this is 2 straight rear naked choke wins for him. And you're thinking this is how he's going to fight in the UFC. He's going to lean on his strengths, which is the wrestling. And he comes out here against Darren Stewart and Shabazian. Well, not Shabazian, but against Darren Stewart, and he wants to stand. So it was a real bit disappointing, and it made me question his fight IQ. So he's going in here against a guy in Maki Pitolo who loves to stand and bang. He loves it. He's fantastic at it, right? And he has a very good chin. Doesn't have the greatest defense at all. Defense is pretty suspect, but Charles Byrd's chin, I think at this point, we're safe to say it's a little suspect. And he has this tendency that I'm seeing, I think, to try to stand too long. And with him being a strong wrestler, and you're looking at Maki Pitolo, who has not defended takedowns all that well. And Pitolo's record is not great. You're seeing 11-5 here, but if you check on Sherdog, it says he's 12-7. So he doesn't have this sparkling record at all. Doesn't have good stand-up defense, and he can crack. So you would think that Byrd's path to victory was going for the takedown. I think I'm going to allow Byrd to get me one more time. I'm going to leave myself vulnerable for him one more time. He's a -183 favorite according to Bet Online. Maki Pitolo's a +158 underdog. Byrd is a guy who he looks the part, but like I said, he has burned me before. This is a guy he should be beating. He should be beating Maki Pitolo. But I do have some fear here. But I'm going to still say he's going to take control of this fight, getting the takedowns, staying in top control, and kind of riding this thing out. And I think ultimately Maki Pitolo gives him the opportunity to get the submission. I think that he gets back to his dominating from top position, taking advantage of choking opportunities. Maki Pitolo, I'm sorry, I think I said he was 12-7. I think he's 12-5 according to Sherdog. But 2 of his losses have come by submission. He lost to Dakota Cochran in July of 2017 by a guillotine choke. So it's not like it's impossible to get him in this way or in this situation. And if you look at his last fight against Callan Potter at UFC 243 in October 2019, those guys were throwing heat early. And Pitolo was arguably getting the better of some of those exchanges. Maybe his punches were having a little bit more of effect. And Callan Potter took control of that fight by turning it into a wrestling match and dominating for the top from top position. If Charles Byrd is smart, he has watched that fight. His corner, his team has watched that fight, and they're not going to waste time getting into banging situations with Maki Pitolo. they're going to get this fight to the ground, and they should be able to make it a lot easier for themselves in doing so. And so I am going to go with Byrd by a second round submission. But if you can hear the tone of my voice, you know that I'm thinking, don't blow this one again, Charles. So that's my prediction for that one.